Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 2046. Be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Today I'm in Lineborough, New Hampshire, with a very special guest by the name of David Manz. David, welcome to Cars Yeah. Do you have any gear, and are you ready to release the clutch?
I'm ready, Mark.
All right, we're going to have some fun here. Go a little off-roading today, I think. But before we get started, and I give you a proper introduction, what's one little thing that maybe people don't know about you, David?
I'm an avid F1 fan, Formula One fan.
Oh, okay. Very cool. So do you have a favorite team?
I just enjoy watching the races, the different drivers, the change in the car setups this year. The first two races of the season have been absolutely fascinating. So I just enjoy the sport in general.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, and it always has been cutting edge and always fraught with a little bit of controversy, and it certainly has changed over the years. The cars nowadays, I can't imagine. I've driven a couple older F1 cars on tracks, and those cars were pretty gnarly to drive. The ones today, I can't even imagine, and the speeds those guys are doing, and you watch that race and you go, how do they not just all crash into each other? I just don't know. I mean, they do sometimes, but, you know, it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It's amazing at the speeds, and this year where they're able to follow so closely to each other and actually pass each other and then repass the other. To me, this year has been one of the most exciting that I can remember.
You know what's amazing to me, too, when you watch F1 is after a while you get a little complacent about the speeds until they hit something, and then you realize how fast they're really going. It's like IndyCar. You just go, oh, okay, going around the corner, and then something happens, or NASCAR, and they go hundreds of yards sliding down the track, and you go, wow, that's fast.
Exactly. It was incredible watching, and thank God he's all right. Mick Schumacher's crash this past weekend. I think I read somewhere it was 33 Gs that he experienced. And the car was split in two when they removed it from the track. So it's amazing that I believe, knew he was okay even before he went to the hospital. It was more precautionary, which is just amazing.
Well, those cars, the technology they've designed to protect those drivers, and the halos now that protect their faces and heads, but still, it's a testament to how strong those guys are and how physically fit. Because most likely, if I got affected by 33 Gs, there wouldn't be much left of me, I don't think. I don't think my body could take it, especially probably not my neck and shoulders and back.
You and me both, Mark. Yeah,
it's astounding. So fun sport. Well, let me give you a proper introduction. We're going a little bit slower today in your world. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but you'll understand in a minute, listeners. David Manz is the owner and co-founder of Manz Motor Company, a father and son business that specializes in designing and rebuilding custom Land Rover Defenders for their clients. Although David received his graduate degree in business and worked most of his adult life as an executive in the financial services industry, he's always had a passion for rebuilding trucks and off-road vehicles. After years of rebuilding Unimogs, oh my gosh, those are huge, Toyota Land Cruisers and Land Rover Defenders for the enjoyment of his family and friends, David and his son Cole, who's going to be a guest tomorrow on Cars Yeah, decided to share their hand-built Land Rover Defenders with their clients, and in the process, they founded Manz Motor Company. I love this story. We'll be back in just a minute, but first a word from our valued sponsor, so please give them a little listen, and you know what? Give them a little business. They're the reasons we can do this every day, and we'll be right back. Covercraft has the most complete line of custom seat covers available. Choose between the Polycotton Seat Savers, Endura Precision Fit custom seat covers, Leatherette Precision Fit custom seat covers, and their durable Carhartt seat covers. They're all easy to install and remove. And guess what? They're machine washable too. Easy cleanup to make them look brand new. No more worries about the kids spilling on your seats or your pets damaging your expensive upholstery or leather. Covercraft's quality seat covers protect from damaging pet claws, pet fur, hair, mud, moisture, food, drink spills, drool from permanently damaging your vehicle's fine surfaces. Headrest and armrest covers and color options are also available on many of the styles. And I've got a great offer for you. If you use the code YEAH21, YEAH21 at covercraft.com, they'll give you 10% off plus free shipping. That's right, 10% off and free shipping with the code YEAH21 at checkout. Covercraft, protecting the things that move you. Visit covercraft.com today. Last year, I changed my collector car coverage to American Collectors Insurance. That's who now protects my Porsche Turbo, the one I call my Orange Crush. But did you know they also insure your valuable collections of automobilia and other collectibles? If you're like me, you've invested in a lot of cool collectibles over the years. Those items are valuable. And if you were to lose them in a theft or a fire, well, try to get your normal homeowner's insurance to pay you what they're worth. Good luck with that. American Collectors Insurance provides you with assurance and confidence that your collectibles are fully covered. They insure a lot of items, including automobilia, wine, baseball cards, books, figurines, die-cast models, model trains, glassware, sports memorabilia, toys, and a whole lot more. American Collectors Insurance, they've been protecting us enthusiasts since 1976. They provide you with an agreed value insurance policy backed by a long history of taking care of their clients. Give them a call today for your personal agreed value quote at 866-ACI-YEAH. That's 866-224-9324. Tell them you're a friend of mine, Mark Rains here at Cars Yeah, American Collectors Insurance. Classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors. Automotive enthusiasts just like you and me. That's American Collectors Insurance. So, David, we are back. So let's go a little off-roading, have a little fun. So tell me, this transition, and I love this story because Cars Yeah was created to help and inspire people who wish they were having fun in the automotive industry like I always have and like you are now, that people listening can figure out a way to do that. And there's all these different businesses and opportunities to do that. You took that big, bold leap. So tell me about that point in transition in your life when you decided, you know what, I'm going to go do what I love for a living. That sounds like a pretty brave, bold step to me.
Well, Mark, thank you for having me on. It was, it may seem brave and bold. I was quite nervous at the time, but it was something that my son and I felt at both points in our lives that it was worth doing. And I will tell you now, after having done it a couple of years, it is one of the best decisions I've made.
I love the story. And it's fun, too, that you decided to bring your son on board. And what's interesting to me is you'd had a career in finance. I assume it was a successful career and it was something you enjoyed doing, but you had your vocation and your avocation. And then you thought, you know what? My son is at the beginning of his life and maybe it'd be fun to do this with him. And what a joy to be able to be with your family member, your son, and mentor him in business. And I'm sure he's taught you some things as well. So how has that dynamic worked for you two guys?
It definitely has changed our relationship. If you think about it, we were father and son, right? Had that traditional relationship, however that's defined by all of the fathers and sons out there. But it expanded to include now being co-owners of a business. And that has been a real treat for me. It has shown me another side of him, or a side that I just didn't experience all of the time. And I find it so inspirational that, and like I said earlier, I was quite nervous to make this jump. As you mentioned, being in corporate America for as many years as I was, this was completely different for me, but also very exciting. But, you know, when I have off days, bad days, and they happen, I just look at him and he's been very inspirational. His ability to focus on our business and our customers and push us forward. I just look at him and everything comes into perspective very quickly. So I can't imagine starting the business with anyone else.
You know, it's really fun when our children become adults and there's kind of that pivotal moment when you stop and you're talking with them and you go, Wow, they're an adult now.
That's right. That's right.
It's kind of a neat experience, and we all experience it at different moments and different times, but working with your child every day must be a real treat. So tell me a little bit about Manz Motor Company. What are all the services and things that you and your son and your team there do?
Absolutely. So we love off-road vehicles. As much as I mentioned I love Formula One, I do love off-road vehicles. And so what we do is we rebuild Land Rover Defenders for our clients. Each of our Defenders is designed and built by us. So we are the two people that build the car. We have
cool.
We have a couple local craftsmen that we work with, a trimmer for our upholstery, as well as a craftsman that is our painter. Other than that, we do all of our own work. Wow. And we have two simple goals. It was, when you start your own business, at least for me, and I listen to a number of podcasts about people that have been successful in business. And so I'm sure it's different for everyone. But, as I thought about it and in my point in life, we have two simple goals. And it made, for me, things very simple and easy for us. One was that we were going to build the best Defenders in the industry, that we were going to focus on one-of-a-kind, handcrafted, world-class Defenders. And then second was that we were going to build those to fit into our customers' lifestyles. And whether that meant driving to dinner at night, going to a show, or going to the beach, using it as a utility vehicle, going up to ski country. We want to understand that because they're such versatile cars. It is amazing. They can go through anything. They can go anywhere, but they can be made to really adapt to someone's lifestyle depending on different tweaks that you make it. And we're living by those two goals. We are building a Land Rover Defender now with a soft top that is going to be used by actually someone that you've interviewed, and it will be used as a beach car. And
nice.
It will have a soft top, and it will come, the soft top sounds like it will be off most of the time. It will have teak floors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so they'll enjoy it that way. It's not going to be something that's going to go to ski country with a soft top. So we really want to understand how people want to use them, because without that, I feel like we're building just another Land Rover Defender. And that's not what we want to do for our customers. We always built them for ourselves, for our family members, and we built them for the reason we wanted them, whether it was to drive around town or to go up to ski country with it. And we found that that's how we got the most pleasure out of them, not trying to build a car that fit everyone's needs. And I understand that for a certain type of car, but we want to make sure it really fits into the role that it's playing in their family.
So you'll do everything from restoring it back to its original nature or enhancing it in the ways that your customer is going to utilize it.
We rebuild all of our cars from the chassis up, regardless of their age, their condition. We start with the chassis, and we like to use the original parts that were on that vehicle if we can. But at the same time, if they're not in a condition that we feel is satisfactory for our build, we will rebuild or refurbish those parts or buy new. So every part on our car is refurbished, rebuilt, or purchased new.
I love this. I've seen this trend happening in a variety of different contexts and vehicles. Everything from people repurposing old classic cars into new EVs.
Yep.
People taking old Porsche 356s and making them into hot rods, or if you want to go extreme, Rob Dickinson with Singer, or Gunther works that Peter's doing. Some amazing things, and what seems to be a trend, and I'll ask if this is what your typical no customer is typical, but your usual customer is people are wanting to relive that old nostalgia. But when they get in an old vehicle, they go, this isn't much fun. It can't really do what I want to do. It's not very comfortable. I want it to look and feel like that history that I remember, but I want it to do even more. Is that what you're seeing in the build you're doing, that trend?
That is, Mark. We can change the engine and the transmission to make it, as you were saying, a little more modern feeling for someone. We also have customers that like the old diesel engine that came with it, and that's a very different experience with a manual transmission. That's what I drive every day, and I love it. We redo the interiors, so all our interiors are hand done by, again, as I mentioned, a local trimmer, a third generation trimmer that we work with, and so they can be very very luxurious inside, very comfortable. What I always find funny is that most of our customers want to sit in the rear, far rear. They have the jump seats, the facing jump
side-facing jump seats. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, and so most people want to sit back there. We try to, the Defender itself, I think, always will look like a Defender. We don't try. I know some folks that I've met redo body panels, make their own body panels, have tried to go more of a unibody construction. That is not what we're looking to do. We want to keep the iconic look of that Defender. I think, as you were saying, that people want to relive that. They want to be a part of that. So that's something that we try not to tinker with. But at the same time, Land Rover Defenders were never made in a soft top having 4 doors or 5 doors, if you think about that rear door as a 5th door. So we'll do something like that.
Very cool.
We're building right now a 6x6. Land Rover made some of those Defenders, mostly in other parts of the world than ours. But we found that folks want to experience that big, rugged feeling and look. So we make a 6x6 for that market. So we do take some liberties, I think, as you were asking earlier, about changing them. That wasn't something stock. But for the most part, when you look at it, you'll say it's a stock Defender that has been modernized in certain areas. Backup cameras, especially the whole audio-visual area of a car, the interior, the colors that we can choose from, the suspensions, the height of that suspension. So there are a number of ways that I'd like to think we tweak it. Maybe some folks would say it's more than tweaking, but we like to tweak it to give, if clients want that modern feel, but again, retain that old world styling.
Do most of your customers bring a Defender to you, or will you go out, or do you have the capabilities to go out and source one if they don't have one?
So we always source the vehicle for our customer. We don't want them to feel that they have to do that. The other thing is that we know what we have. And so when we take that car apart, we know exactly what it's going to contain. And I always felt like if we were to work on others' cars or take their cars, I know for myself, I would have an expectation because that was my car. And then it's turned into something else. And what I wanted to do was work with clients that might not want to go source their own car, might not want to tweak their own car, might not want to fix their own car. So we do everything from sourcing to, if God forbid there's any issues with it, picking that car up and fixing it right away.
Right. Any future you see, or has a customer ever asked you about creating an EV?
So we did. We actually were in Amelia a few weeks ago, and someone did come up very interested and said, "Do you put electric motors in it?" We said, "We're not at that point yet. We will." So absolutely. To me, that will be one of our biggest changes, as a number of your guests have talked about, the whole electrification of the drivetrain and or the power plant. And we will be there. Right now, we are focused on either original diesel engines, new diesel engines, or gas engines.
Very cool. Yeah, I've had several people on this show that do that. I think of David Bernardo down in San Diego. He takes old Volkswagens. He's done Gias, buses, and even a couple old Porsches that he's turned into both 356 and I think a 912, maybe even a 911, and turned them into EVs. And you're seeing that too with some major automakers. Jaguar several years ago brought one to the Quail, an XKE they made into electric, which some people are standing around grumbling about it, but I thought it was kind of an interesting experience and, a process, and something that, definitely would probably be more reliable than that. I know it's a wonderful old engine they put in those cars, but, not always that easy to keep in tune and so forth. So I think this is really, really cool what you're doing. Let's take a short break. We come back. I want to talk a little bit about inspirational people and challenges. So keep that thought in mind. Keep the seatbelt on. We're off-road today with Manz Motor Company. We'll be right back. I've teamed up with AutoGeek because Well, they've been the leading source of auto detailing products, accessories for more than 20 years. Their Pinnacle Sovereign Paste Wax is specially formulated from Brazilian carnauba wax. It's easy to apply on any paint surface and provides that warm glow that we love, especially me on my vehicles. You're going to love it too. A favorite of car shows countrywide, Pinnacle Sovereign Paste Wax from AutoGeek wipes on easily, requires no drying time, is easy to remove, and provides up to 90 days of protection against damaging environmental contaminants. This wax is designed to exceed the standards of the most discriminating enthusiasts and collectors. Go to autogeek.net to get yours for the best product selection on the internet today, along with their very skilled technical support. Autogeek.net. That's where I go for all my detailing needs. That's autogeek.net. If you're listening to this program, there's a pretty good chance you believe what I believe, that the collector vehicles we love are more than just a means of getting from one place to the other. They're a part of our culture, our identity, and as a people, they bring us together at vintage races, classic car auctions, and 1,000-mile rallies. That's why I support the RPM Foundation, which exists to ensure that the critical skills necessary to preserve and restore these important vehicles aren't lost to time. RPM stands for Restoration, Preservation, and Mentorship, and their goal is to inspire the next generation of vehicle restoration professionals through its outreach programs. And they include Shop Hop, Off to the Races, the RPM Future Class, and many others. These programs engage talented young people across the country and connect them with mentors and a variety of opportunities in the industry. For more information on how the RPM Foundation is driving the future of collector vehicles skilled trade, visit rpm.foundation today. So, David, let's talk about this key mentors, inspirational people in your lives, influential people that have been helpful to you. Is there somebody like that in your world?
There absolutely have been many people that have gotten me to where I am, and I thank them all. Mostly, for me, it's been family and friends. But lately, with the starting of this business, since we're talking about Manz Motor Company, I think as I mentioned earlier in my comments, it really has been my son. I don't know. I guess I want people to know it is heartfelt. It is he has gone through, I think, a lot compared to my life in terms of school and career, at least at that point in his life. Mm-hmm. And I see what he's doing, and I see, again, that commitment and focus to our business. And he really does keep me going, maybe not literally every day, but he keeps me going, whether it be, as simple as when we drive down to, I mentioned we went to Amelia, and staying up with me. He's not sleeping and letting me doing all the driving. We're equal partners in this. He's driving. We're talking along the way. We drove back straight from Amelia Island because we wanted to get home, and we both shared in that. And so, that's a simple example. But, like I mentioned, there are bad days. There are days when, for those that have worked on Land Rovers, not all the parts always fit. Even when you have new ones, which is surprising probably to a lot of people. And I do get frustrated, and he is just as cool as a cucumber. He moves us forward, and I think, like I said, I look at him and I see that attitude, that commitment to our business and our customers, and I look at him and boom, I'm on point. I'm focused. And I figured, if he can do it, I can do it. And I think we do, in a good way, push each other as we might veer off track a little and things not going well, that we're able to have that relationship, as we talked about, that expanded relationship of not only being father and son, but co-workers or co-owners now, that we're able to move each other forward. So he is definitely, on a daily basis, my inspiration, and can't thank him enough.
Very cool. Well, great parenting there too, because people and adults don't become great adults without some great parenting behind them. That's for sure. So he's a fortunate young man. May I ask how old Cole is?
21.
21, so he's a very young guy. Okay, cool.
He is.
Very cool. I love it. So let's talk about a big challenge, big failure, some type of big obstacle you've had to overcome. Now, this could be in your life, could be in your previous career, could be in your current career. Doesn't really matter. The real story here is how did you turn that challenge into a great learning experience? So you guys are used to going off-road and hitting some rocks and bumps. So take us on one of those trips.
Yeah, it's actually fits very well into the prior question, Mark. So I mentioned he's 21 now. He went to his freshman year of college and did not have a positive experience. And, I'm not going to provide all of the details. He may go into it a little with you tomorrow on your show, but he did not like school and it was not for him. And so he left college after his freshman year. And I'll tell you, it made me, you were very nice to compliment me on being a good parent. I'll tell you, at that moment, I did not feel like a good parent. I felt like I failed somehow. And education, education has been very important in my family. It always has been. And I know my father asked me the day after I graduated undergraduate school when I was getting my MBA.
Yeah, it was expected.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Mark. And in some ways, I guess I did expect it. And so it was a very hard time for me as a parent. But more importantly, I became concerned about his future, right? So I all of a sudden went from, okay, here's his plan, to, oh my goodness, we do not have a plan. And for my life and feeling in my life that you needed to go to school to have a quote unquote plan, a career. And we had planned to start Manz Motor Company actually before he went to school, but it was going to be some time out, probably after he graduated school, possibly getting his graduate degree. It was something that we wanted to do. We, as I've mentioned, and you mentioned in the opening, we love these cars. We love to build them. We love to enjoy them. And we really do enjoy, I think, enjoy the most, others enjoying them. And so we planned to start it, but it certainly wasn't as an 18-year-old. Or I think 19 by that time when his first year was over. And so we had some tough discussions. I'm not exactly sure how I overcame it, Mark.
I understand being a parent of two kids.
Yeah. My wife and I talked a lot. It was not in our, I'll say, life plan at that moment. It was not part of my career plans at that time. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, it was a big change, a big step for us. And but we, after a lot of conversation and talking with Cole, we decided to launch our business. And it was a very uncomfortable decision at the time. But I will tell you, it's one of those things that you jump through and you take that leap of faith, and I'll never turn back. We love it. Our customers are the best customers in the world. We love meeting with them. We love going to events. We have people come to the shop just to see what they're doing. They'll always say, "Oh, I'm sorry to take up your time." I said, "We love it. We'll talk about these cars all day." So I'm not, to your question, I'm not sure how I overcame it, Mark, exactly, but I know it was in the end, it turned out to be, I think I'll look back and probably one of my best life decisions.
It's a wonderful story, and I commend you for, I don't know all the details because I wasn't there, but being a parent, expecting your kids to go to college, and then you want them to be self-sufficient and prosperous and accomplished and all those things that we want for our children. I can see how that would be very, very, very challenging, and then accepting his decision and then finding a way forward, because, college, I really believe college is really changing, and definitely from when I was in college, which was a long time ago. And I'm not really happy with higher education as I used to be. And there's a lot of people that it's not the right thing for them to force somebody to spend those 4 years, and heaven forbid, if they have to borrow money, going deeply into debt or taking away, your hard-earned money. I mean, I spent a lot of money on two private colleges that would have added a lot to my nest egg for the future, but I was happy to do it, and I'm glad it worked out. But many parents do that, and the kids go, I got this piece of paper, it doesn't mean anything to me. That was, either a big party or a big waste of time. So my hat's off to you for accepting Cole's decision and helping him see a way forward. And tech schools are another good example of that. I support several here, my charities of choice for RPM Foundation and Tech Force Foundation, that help young people that don't want to go to what I call a traditional school, but a tech school, to learn what they really want to do and be happy with their lives. And it's really becoming a viable profession. You see, it is for Cole. And I know a lot of young people that are working in the restoration field and the tech field and cars and airplanes and boats, and they're making great money. They don't have all that college debt that this poor country is just hogtied by. I hear about kids that owe so much money, and it's so sad that they've been tied to that. So I don't know. I kind of secretly hope that major four-year colleges are going to make some kind of adjustment. I don't have a lot of faith in them, honestly, but that they've just outpriced themselves to a point of oblivion and of not being of value. I really think that's part of the deal.
Yeah, it's been very eye-opening for me as a parent, and again, as someone who at the point, and I also have been out of school quite a while, but thinking that you really did have to be a part of that experience to be whatever successful meant to you, and it's been very enlightening. And I do hope we're a young company, but it's one of our goals to support, it sounds like similar to yourself, folks that don't want to go to school. And I have really have been exposed to eyes really opened, I guess, to what people can do, that they don't necessarily need school. It's not the right path for them. And there are so many other things to do. And that should not have any stigma, negative stigma attached to them.
I think it's changing.
I do, Mark. I do.
And the Mike Rowe's of the world, I think, are helping that. In a big way. And I think it's a great thing. And people should go do what they're happy with doing. Life's too short. You and I know that in our points in life, that you may not get all the years that you think you're going to get, so you should be doing what you really enjoy. Which brings me back to something fun, and that is a special vehicle in your life. Is there one that stands out that you could share a story about?
So this one, I love talking about this with friends and family, because I will get that question every now and again. It was a 1970s Jeep Wagoneer. So for those that know the original, I'll call it Jeep Wagoneer. It was one of the not the first. Probably the Suburban was one of the first, or one of the International Harvester big family rigs. But it was a big family rig in its time, and it's the car I learned to drive on. It was yellow with the faux wood paneling.
I was going to ask if it had the fake wood down the side.
Yeah. So it looked like a big bruised banana. Yeah. And my grandfather purchased it for both of us, actually. And I learned to drive on it. And he and my grandmother used to spend summers in the town I grew up in. And his deal with me was, and it was a great deal for me, was that he got to use it while he and my grandmother were in town for the summer. And then it was for me for the rest of the months.
Wow. Nice.
And so I loved it. And my fondest memory of it really is, and again, this is a big family vehicle. Well, and it had the bench seat in the front, so it was an automatic big bench seat. The three of us would squish into the front, and that's how we drove. And no one was ever in the middle or the rear of the car. They're big. And so I just used to kind of crack up and look at them. And my grandmother used to look at me, and when I was driving, and she'd always say, "I feel very safe with you behind the wheel."
Oh, Dave. That's nice.
And so anyway, that is when I look back, that's one of my favorite moments of my favorite cars.
What a great memory. We had two Oldsmobile Vista Cruisers with the faux wood down this side. So that was very popular back in the 70s. And our first one was the late 60s, the first gen one. So very cool. So let's crawl into your skull and be a bit of a psychologist for you today. Yeah. If you were and I've changed my word from manifest to reincarnated into a vehicle, what would you be, but more importantly, why?
I guess I would be some type of diesel truck. It's going back to that off-road kind of the tortoise and the hare. And so I'd like to think, and again, people that know me could probably chime in a lot better than I can. But I'd like to think as a diesel truck with that big diesel engine that I'm reliable, hardworking, dependable, that I'm in something for the long haul.
Yeah.
And it's not a fleeting fad for me, or wanting to look glitzy. It's kind of just hunker down and get the work done. I've always liked to build things. I've always been intrigued by how things are constructed. So I something about a diesel truck just I feel like would represent me.
Okay, so I'm going to mix this up a little bit. I'm going to ask Cole this same question tomorrow. What kind of vehicle would Cole be if he was reincarnated as a vehicle?
Cole loves speed.
He loves speed. Okay, something a little faster than a diesel truck.
He loves speed. He had convinced us at one point, and I won't mention brands or the models, but we had two ridiculously fast cars in this house, and he just loved them. And I mentioned we were at Amelia. One of the auctions there had an F1 car for sale. We couldn't afford something like that, but he's, Dad, I want to buy that. And again, we're Formula One fans. He loves speed. So it will be something, I'm not sure which model he'll pick, but I am pretty comfortable betting it will be sleek and it will be fast and it will be absurdly expensive.
There you go. I love it. So let's talk about a great book you'd like to share with our listeners today.
I'm not much of a reader, to be honest with you. Or at least not in the traditional sense of the word. My bookshelves are full of how-to books, whether they be car workshop manuals, parts catalogs, home repair manuals. I've owned, probably not for every car, but for almost every car that I've owned, I have the manuals for those cars, not just the glove box manual, but the workshop manual. And I read those. And I've always gotten a ton of satisfaction from knowing how things work. And so that's what I enjoy. I think if, it's funny as you get to know more about certain things, you keep learning and fixing different things. And my wife calls me around here Mr. Fix-It. Nice. And you start to unlock the mysteries and they become not so mysterious. And I think if people want to, they shouldn't have to, but if they want to learn how something works and for the mystery to kind of be revealed, a good how-to book actually, I think, is quite interesting. If you, in some ways, I find it to be like reading a mystery that you don't know how it's going to end. You don't know how it, you certainly start reading the book by not knowing how it works. And by the end, you've figured out, its inner workings and what broke and how you can fix it. I find it, I guess, enjoyable, but very empowering. So that's how I read, Mark. I have no great quotes from different books. That's just not how my mind operates. So
yeah, Mr. Fix-It. I like that. So if I let you go, or I enabled you, I should say, to go on the ultimate drive, and I bought any vehicle in the world, and you could be with anybody, and you could be driving anywhere. Now, this person could be somebody living or someone who's passed. What does the ultimate drive look like for you?
Well, I am a huge fan of Top Gear and Grand Tour, and the ones that have Jeremy Clarkson in them. So I've watched those, and I've always wanted to relive one of their epic journeys. And so I can, of course, I would be... I would have to say it would be in a Land Rover Defender. And I could see my son and I going on quite the journey. We used to watch those, and we enjoy just talking about how we would do it. And but it's interesting because as much as I talk about Cole and I doing things together, I can see on this journey us being in separate cars, kind of like the, Clarkson, Hammond, and May, they're on the headsets, they're talking to each other, right? That would be us. We're constantly talking to each other. We'd be pointing out things that amazed us or obstacles in our way. But also the kind of the thing I always chuckle about is that we think each other are terrible drivers.
Of course, I'm better than you.
and maybe that explains why he was up the entire drive down to Amelia and back with me. But and me too. But I could see some good-natured ribbing and teasing along the way. But I've always wanted to do, whether that be down in South America or their journeys in the Middle East or wherever they are. I just think recreating one of those would be fantastic.
Well, if you're both in different vehicles, if one gets stuck, you can pull the other one out. So that's kind of a cool benefit too. But
exactly.
Yeah. Sounds like a great, fun journey and something I'm sure you guys will do one of these days. Well, you've taken us on a great, fun journey today, David, and I really appreciate you taking time. I'm looking forward to hearing the other side of Manz Motor Company from Cole tomorrow. So we'll have some fun with that. Before I let you go, though, could you share maybe an inspirational thought or meaning or success quote with us?
I think, Mark, kind of the thread through some of your comments, my comments during our time together, it's really that there is no one path to get where you want to go to achieve your goals and your dreams. A mother came up to me at one of the shows and, asked me, her son loved the car. He was inside it. He was under it. He was all around the Defender that we had brought to this car show. And she said, what should I tell my son? Where should I direct him towards? And so I told her my background, and I said, I can't tell you, what the quote unquote best path is. And she said, oh, I guess I understand that. But in thinking of that and thinking about where my son has been, my own personal career journey, stories that you hear from others, it's really that, I think each person can determine where they want to be, and it doesn't have to be a quote unquote traditional approach like we talked about with school and your career or other things in life. So that's my parting words of wisdom for what they're worth.
Well, it's a nice thought since you guys are building vehicles that forge their own way.
Exactly.
There's the thought, forge your own way. You will find your own way as long as you remain true to yourself and realize and discover what it is you're passionate about, and everything will turn out just fine. How can people learn more about Manz, and that's MANZ, a motor company?
So, Mark, our email is info@manzmotorcompany.com, and the same domain, manzmotorcompany.com, is our website. And you can also find us on Instagram, which is @ManzMotorCo.
There you go. I'll make sure I put links to all those on David's show notes page. I want to do a shout out thank you to Bill Pack. He's a friend of mine and photographer. If you have subscribed, and if you haven't, you should, to the Cars Yeah website, you'll see his photos on my emails I send out during the week. And he's the one who introduced me to David and his son. So thank you, Bill, for doing that. Tomorrow we'll learn a little bit more about the younger side of Manz Motor Company and see where that all fits in. David, thanks for being so generous today with your time and your expertise and sharing your adventures and the great life you built with your son. Until you and I talk again, I'll see you down the road.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. This has been great. I've discovered Linkage. It's a new quarterly publication and website that covers the automotive market, driving, restoring, collecting, and discovering your passion for motor vehicles. Linkage is about experiences, opinions, and values. Linkage is an actual informed, reasoned opinion based on first-hand experiences. A talented Linkage team covers the automotive world, the people who share your passion and mine, smart, considered, rational, and experienced opinions, ones you can learn from and grow. That includes our passion that drives auctions and the collector car market. So come with me and join us on this journey. And be sure to use the code CARSYEAH when you subscribe, and they'll give you $10 off. Boom! Linkage, geared for the automotive life. Subscribe today at linkagemag.com.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.